Nearly everyone has social skills that suck. This makes sense. Very few people are taught the skills you need to be popular. Most extremely popular people do so without coaching, tricks, or being exceptionally smart. This leads us to ask what they do differently. The answer is that they rarely make basic mistakes. The difference fixing just one vital mistake will make your popularity is gigantic. Most viewers make several of the mistakes we'll address. Our first mistake is the most common. Most people ask far too few questions, and a high proportion ask almost none. People are drawn to those that make them feel good. Everything contributes to the emotions we engender, including how interesting, kind, empathic, and attentive you are. What matters most in relationships are the things that affect their feelings the most. Mistreating or boring someone risks losing them or receiving less than their best. Fortunately, feelings aren't a trade. Making others feel good can involve sacrifices, but in most cases it needn't. A key to strong relationships is discovering the most impactful ways to make you and everyone you interact with feel amazing. Making others feel good at the cost of feeling terrible yourself is rarely correct. While some dating guides may suggest otherwise, the idea that being kind is detrimental is incorrect. You want to attract a partner and friends who will treat you well, and believers they do too. Negative perceptions of nice behaviour often stem from people who are kind but flawed, which leads to the two being conflated. It is not kindness itself that's problematic, but traits like dullness, avoiding controversy, obsequiousness, or appearing needy by seeking excessive approval or attention. Many grow up making jokes at the expense of others, feel they have to banter, and even that their friends like it. Banter is good, right? Well, it is, but only if you don't screw it up. Many people's banter is simply insulting, and they would be much more popular if they were kinder to their friends. Both these rules have exceptions, but these exceptions are rare. Whenever you break one of the rules, it's worth seeing if you screwed up. The most common way to lose a friend is not conflict, but laziness. If you never contact someone or invite them to things, you rely on their effort. Often this means you'll slowly drift apart. You can often restore friendships where contact has dwindled. Were this not the case, lack of effort would rank even higher. Lack of effort also ends countless romantic relationships, but in far less repairable ways. Vital relationships shouldn't feel like work, but they shouldn't be effortless either. As well as messaging and arranging meetings, the best way to inject effort into a relationship is to consider how to improve it, even if for only a few minutes each week. Do this by asking yourself questions such as, how can I improve this relationship? What would this person like? Or how can I help this person? Preparing for conversation sounds forced, but most are comfortable practicing what to say for a job interview, sales pitch, business presentation, or speech. Note that people who do this well often sound completely natural. Never follow an exact script. More like an interview, you should have answers to common questions such as, what do you do? And have questions ready to ask. It's also great if you have a supply of high quality stories and jokes, especially those that link well to common or important questions or the questions you plan to use. With those who you speak with a lot, consider collaborating or even competing to find the best topics or the most fascinating subjects. It is common to hear that humor is the most desired trait, although we rate it slightly lower. Still, humor matters, and many people are never intentionally funny. Many people spend thousands of hours studying for their careers, but almost none study relationships. If you value something, you should be studying it. After this video, we recommend Dale Carnegie's poorly named but exceptional How to Win Friends and Influence People. One of the more important skills to learn is how to listen. Reaching average doesn't need much. Just prompt people to continue, focus on what they say, and ensure you speak proportionally to the number of people in a conversation. Listening has multiple common mistakes. First of these is speaking too much, then we have interrupting, and not listening but instead waiting to make your point. People do not read minds. Unless you've told someone how you feel or how something affects you, it's best to assume they don't know. Assuming they do leads to severe problems. It is common to avoid meaningful conversations or confrontations, which almost always backfires. Unless someone realizes when they do something that upsets you, they will likely keep doing it. Avoiding saying anything even slightly negative is one of the main ways that long-term relationships end. It often means you build up resentment that may eventually turn to anger. Still, you should only bring up potentially fixable problems that you care about. Overloading your partner with constant demands to improve is rarely wise either. While you'll often naturally align with your partner, there'll be areas where you should correct your assumptions. Discussion can bring significant positive change and deepen your understanding of each other. Trying to avoid disagreement entirely is a big mistake. Some other common mistakes include smelling bad, being negative, lacking empathy, accepting or declining every invite, forcing through topics that your audience has shown bores them, assuming the worst of others, and excessively caring about status, for example by buying things to look rich. While it's not a mistake as such, a lack of confidence can also be worth fixing. You gain confidence through competence, experience, and mindset. Working on life improvement is one of the best ways to gain confidence, as it adds to both competence and experience. The fastest way to gain confidence, though, is to take opportunities to face situations you're nervous about that don't involve genuine danger. Toastmasters International, for example, is a great way to do this if public speaking makes you nervous. After the basics, the next step is to work on how interesting you are. Telling someone to be more interesting is an insult, but we guarantee the world's most interesting person worked hard on this skill to get there. Learning to be more interesting implies nothing about your starting point. Start by learning to tell stories well. Some people can make a trip to the grocery store gripping, and others can make a trip around the world deathly dull. When telling stories conversationally, the core skills are learning which interesting details to impart and ideally sharing your emotional reactions. After all, relationships come down to how you make people feel. Don't focus on trivia, flashy experience, or learning subjects for the sake of being interesting. More stories and knowledge make you slightly more interesting, but it's much more effective to focus on sharing your existing experience as well. Listening, body language, and rapport all affect how interesting you are. Body language is tough to improve as it's largely habitual. It requires constant attention and is typically slow. The easiest way to adjust your body language is to align your thinking to how you wish to act. For instance, altering your perspective to view others more generously is easier and more effective than faking interest. Finally, it can be wise to learn how to build rapport. To do this, focus first on listening and observation. Is there a new positive change you can observe? Can you remember a new person's name? Did they take a trip? Did you notice they talk non-stop about their children? All these details, when used well, build rapport. It's unwise to claim you like or dislike everything someone else does, but when it's true, you can also build rapport by sharing and agreeing. Many rapport-building techniques involve matching and leading the other person's body language, mood, and engagement levels. We suggest you read Olivia Carbane's The Charisma Myth to learn more. Hello, I'm Richard, author of the book Optimizing Life, which can be read for free via the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Want your story or script made into a video like this one? It costs less than you think. Details in the comments.